touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kusa. You ain't here for my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regret, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me?
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, hello, easy, we the people. Rosina is here. All right, let's get into it. Hadassah Israel. Okay, Dragon Lily is in the house. Jeff ATL, Bronze Flat Power God. Shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they'll be putting in work. Hey, my two loves. Desmond's in the house. Okay, so before we get started, hey, Michael. Lauya is in the house. Okay, so let's have a brief word from our sponsor at 12 Tribes. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about what Trump's been up to. Okay, let's get into it because the Trump administration might deport Kilmar Abrego Garcia to Uganda. Now, that's what they said 2 days ago. Question is, why on earth would they send this man to Uganda? Okay. So they say the Trump administration might try to deport Kilmar Abrego Garcia to Uganda in the coming days, according to a notice sent by the Department of Homeland Security officials to his attorneys on Friday. Y'all know how crazy this is. Now, what if they start trying to send us to Africa, saying that that's where we originally came from? Did y'all think about that? Anybody? Did that ever cross your minds? But let me continue. So the notice made public in a court filing in Abrego Garcia's human smuggling criminal case in Tennessee came minutes after he was released from criminal custody, pending his trial on the federal charges. And Abrego Garcia's lawyers accused the government of using the notice to try to coerce Abrego Garcia to accept a plea deal in his case. They say, let this email serve as notice that DHS may remove your client, Kilmar Arando Abrego Garcia, to Uganda no earlier than 72 hours from now, absent weekends, they said. So either take a plea deal or just go to Uganda? Is that what they're implying? So administration officials have hinted in the past at the possibility that Abrego Garcia, who was unlawfully deported to El Salvador earlier this year before being returned to the U.S. in June to face the charges, may be deported to a third country. But until Friday, it wasn't clear whether they would let this trial conclude before they initiated any removal proceedings. Now, Simon Sandoval Moshenberg, an attorney for Abrego Garcia, told CNN in a statement the move to send the Salvadorian national to Uganda was retaliation by the government. I hope y'all are paying attention because this is what Trump's trying to do. The government's decision to send Kilmar Abrego Garcia to Uganda makes it painfully clear that they are using the immigration system to push him for exercising his constitutional rights. Okay, this is what Sandoval Moshenberg said, saying there is a perfectly reasonable option available. Costa Rica, where he has family, where his family can visit him easily, but instead they're attempting to send him halfway across the world to a country with documented human rights abuses and where he does not even speak the language. This is not justice, it's retaliation. Now, under a ruling issued last month by U.S. District Judge Paula Zenas, who had ordered the administration to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return from a mega prison in El Salvador, officials are required to give him and his lawyers a heads up of removal plans at least 72 business hours before they intend to carry out the deportation to a third country. Now, that requirement is meant to give him time to raise a claim that he may face torture or persecution in the third country identified by the government. Do y'all hear this? They're talking about possible torture. Okay, this is absolutely insidious. All right, I just want you all to be paying attention to this. That he might endure torture or persecution in a third country identified by the government. Now, the filing submitted by Abrego Garcia's lawyers Saturday morning to the federal judge overseeing his criminal case also said that earlier this week, the government tried to cut a deal with him in which he would plead guilty to the federal charges, and after serving any court-imposed sentence, he would be deported to Costa Rica. Now, the Central American country would accept him as a refugee or give him some form of legal status, according to a letter sent from its government to a State Department official at the U.S. Embassy in Costa Rica, saying that offer was renewed Friday evening. Abrego Garcia's attorney said in court papers, they told the judge that their client now has until Monday morning to accept a plea in exchange for deportation to Costa Rica, or else that offer will be off the table forever. Ooh, honey, this sounds like extortion. Now, the offers Abrego Garcia's lawyers argued are evidence of what they described as the government's effort to punish Abrego Garcia for challenging his wrongful deportation earlier this year. That's exactly what this is. They told the judge that Waverly Crenshaw, they told the judge Waverly Crenshaw that the developments buttressed their request for him to throw the case out on the grounds that Abrego Garcia is the subject of vindictive and selective prosecution. What do you all have to say about this? This is absolutely egregious. Okay, are y'all listening? Does anybody realize the severity of this all? This is real crazy. Now they're going to send this man to another country. Nobody has anything to say. Are y'all just sitting there twiddling your thumbs? Y'all don't think this could be you at some point? Nobody has nothing to say. I know y'all don't really care about immigrants, most of you. But what if they try to send y'all somewhere? Okay. Because why would they be even thinking about sending this poor man to Uganda? Make it all make sense. He doesn't know anything about the culture, can't even speak the language, and definitely isn't from there. This is all so crazy. Okay. This is all absolutely insane. Anyway, that's what it says. Okay. They told the judge, Waverly Crenshaw, that the developments buttress their request for him to throw the case out on the grounds that Abrego Garcia is the subject of vindictive and selective prosecution. There can be only one interpretation of these events. The DOJ, DHS, and ICE are using their collective powers to force Mr. Abrego to choose between a guilty plea followed by relative safety or rendition to Uganda, where his safety and liberty would be under threat. This is what his attorneys are saying. It's difficult to imagine a path the government could have taken that would have better emphasized its vindictiveness, they continue. This case should be dismissed. Honey, when I tell you Trump is doing whatever he wants to do, and none of it is making any sense. Yes, it is scary. Okay, it is scary. I mean, where are the Democrats and why aren't they doing or saying anything? Like, this is totally insane. Totally insane. But anyway, I guess it's going to go down the way they want because they want him to make some sort of plea. So anyway, with that all been said, let's move right along to the next subject because they're saying that Gloria Estefan and her husband are suing. They're thinking about suing for being tied to a Diddy freak-off allegation. Okay, let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Gloria Estefan, Gloria and so they're considering taking legal action against one Diddy accuser after they were named in a lawsuit, which has since been thrown out. Now, they say we caught up to the powerhouse couple in New York City this week, where both Gloria and Emilio separately suggested to TMZ that they were thinking about suing after a man name dropped them in their Miami home in human trafficking claims against the Bad Boy Records founder. Now, in the now dismissed lawsuit, the man claimed that he was rugged and shuttled to one of Diddy's star-studded freak-off parties on Star Island in Miami and got there via a secret tunnel. Do y'all hear this? Are y'all listening to the bullshit? Now, we all know because the truth came out in court, okay? The people at the freak-offs were none other than Diddy, the S-workers, and one of his women, okay, at various times. Now, this man says that he was shuffled to a freak-off through an underground tunnel, mind you. Of course, it was thrown out, okay? And many of these are going to be thrown out because now we know that they're all liars who lie, okay? Many of them. The ones talking about something in the baby oil that put them out and all of that. We know who started that nefarious lie that spread like a wildfire, okay? And none of it turned out to be true at all. But let me continue. Listen, said he was shuttled to one of Diddy's star-studded freak-off parties on Star Island in Miami and got there via a secret tunnel between Gloria Estefan's estate and Diddy's. Now, we already know about the supposed tunnel in California from his home in California going to the Playboy Mansion, right? We saw Warren Beatty being asked about that decades ago. But now they have a tunnel in Star Island, no less, and he was shuffled through there and forced to participate in the freak-off. As Gloria told us on Thursday, she was never worried about the lawsuit and even laughed off the notion of a secret tunnel beneath her home. She did, however, note that the accuser would have some splaining to do over the claims, which she slammed as total fantasy, a comment similar to the one she shared back in May. Emilio expanded on his wife's reaction and further shut down the allegation as ridiculous. These people are still trying their luck. Do y'all hear this? These people are still trying to get them a coin, honey. Pay attention. They still want a grift. I absolutely cannot, honey. These people are on the bandwagon. Do you hear me? Anyway, goes on to say, in this video that TMZ has that I'm not going to share, okay, I might play the audio and put something over it, but it says, Emilio hits back and explains about a supposed tunnel. Hold on, I got to share this on here. This is hilarious. I'm going to have to cover it, though, because I don't want any problems with TMZ. all crazy. Okay, here we go. This is all a hot mess. Let me put something over here, some sort of overlay.
Miss Estefan, you look fantastic. Love the shoes, love the glasses. You know, I definitely gotta just put it out there. You know, Diddy's on trial. Are you happy that that's like behind you? That you're kind of moved on past like the allegations of something happened at your house. Like, are you happy to be
behind him? Nothing happened in my house ever.
I love
ever. That. So I just hope he gets in front of this group.
Right.
It's finally over for him.
What do you think the end result is going to be? I mean,
who knows?
Right.
Who knows anything?
Perfect.
Thank you.
People are going to be testifying on Monday and Tuesday. Do you hope that your name is not brought up again? Because there is an accuser, and so right now we don't know who's going to be testifying. But
that guy is not well in the head if you look at his history, and he's just throwing everybody in. I mean, Diddy was a neighbor who was always very kind to us, and his mom spectacular. But we never was in his house or him in ours.
I mean, Tony Busby is kind of throwing stuff around. You're saying, or you said because you said someone's sick in the head. Did you mean Tony?
No,
Busby?
The guy that
the accuser.
Our name, into the thing. So,
thank you.
Well, you look good, girl. We appreciate your time.
You so
Ciao.
Y'all heard that, honey. Oh, y'all heard that. That lady said Diddy was never in their home, nor they in his, okay? I mean, these people are still out here lying, trying to get a bag. Well, you know, they said lie don't care who tells it. That seems to be the consensus. So anyway, with that all being said, they said that Emilio hit back and explained a supposed tunnel between the two properties was impossible, given that the home sat on an island. It's all water beneath the residences. Emilio's message was clear. He wasn't going to let unsubstantiated claims hurt his or his wife's good reputation. And as we know, Diddy's still sitting in jail, found guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. All right. So anyway, and of course, Diddy denied the allegations on more than one occasion, mind you. So what do y'all think? People are still trying to get their bags? People still trying to get their coins? Panther Strikes at Queen. Is that a main in the red dress? Honey, I don't know. I wasn't even paying attention. It probably was. It probably was, honey. I wasn't really looking. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's talk about what's going on with Shiloh and Shiloh Sanders. First of all, Antonio Brown's silly self is out here just talking trash again. Ex-Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown fires major shot at Shiloh and Shiloh Sanders following release. So the NFL world was abuzz following Shiloh Sanders' release from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and former Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown has taken notice. An outspoken critic of the Sanders family, Brown wasted little time criticizing Shiloh's release, taking massive shots at the Sanders in 3 tweets. Okay, in Brown's first shot, he claimed that Brown's rookie QB, Shiloh Sanders, would be following Shiloh out of the league next. He says, the whole Sanders fam got to end up getting cut out of the league. Why does he hate them so much? Why is he so upset with Deion Sanders and his son? Does anyone know? Because I just don't get it. I mean, at some point, he was really cool with Deion. Do you all remember that? He was really cool with Deion at some point. Now this idiot has so much to say. Okay, so anyway, the former Steelers wideout then took aim at their father, Deion Sanders, claiming that because the NFL couldn't humble him, Shiloh and Shiloh would pay for it, saying not even their fault. And NFL couldn't humble their dad, so they're going to pay kids. Now, Brown finished his harsh criticism with a final shot at all 3 Sanders, poking fun that Deion would likely retire Shiloh's jersey soon after his Buccaneers release, saying at least Pops will retire his Colorado jersey soon. Dion has responded to AB's rants before, but it remains to be seen if he'll take the bait following Shiloh's release and with Shadur's future in Cleveland up in the air. Let me tell you all something. Here's what I'm thinking. I don't know exactly what's going on, exactly what they have planned for Shiloh at Cleveland, but I can guarantee you it's nothing good, okay? Now, Stefanski came out, or Kevin Stefanski came out and said that he was absolutely not trying to sabotage Shadur, but of course that's what he's trying to do. Do you all realize that four of the five offensive linemen four of the people in the game with Shadur are already cut? All but one. And he'll probably be cut tomorrow for all we know. Okay, the guy that they sent in for the 2-minute drill, Snoop or Huntley, okay, that guy has been cut as well. So what was the point or the motivation behind stupid Stefanski putting him in rather than Shadur? Other than to humiliate Shadur, not give him a chance to come back and rectify his mistakes that he made, okay? When everything was set up for him to fail, mind you. And then some idiots are sitting there saying, well, you know, Shadur is a fifth string, he's a fifth pick or whatever, fifth draft pick. So they said that was what he was supposed to get, was third and fourth string, okay, people to be protecting him. They said that's how the game goes. Well, here's the thing. First of all, they picked him fifth, but at the end of the day, we all know he should have been picked in the first. Okay, like the top. This was just all a whole setup, and Stefanski knows it. Okay, and then the way he responds to it, you can tell that he's clearly lying when he's asked about it, tries to be so dismissive and condescending because he knows he's full of crap. But the interesting thing to me is how Stephen A. Smith, okay, and others on ESPN have backpedaled and are now trying to defend Stefanski. Okay, just like Stephen A. Smith last week was saying that he knew for a fact that Dylan Gabriel wasn't talking about Shiloh Sanders when he made that comment about entertainers. How would he know that for a fact? How would he know that for a fact? Is he really close with Dylan Gabriel? Did Dylan tell him that? And even if he had, how would he know it to be true? Just because he said it. Okay, sitting here vouching for people that he doesn't know what their motivations are, but we know what their motivations look like. Okay. Anyway, let's continue because I'm about to pull up some footage. First, we're going to talk about what ESPN is saying, but also I want to go to a video that someone did. Now, this young man who did this video, shout out to him. He doesn't think that Shiloh being cut from the Buccaneers has anything to do with the race. Well, I don't think it has anything to do with race either. Okay, I think it has everything to do with Dion and getting rid of his son. Okay, at the end of the day. But why don't they like Dion? Well, that all goes back to race. And definitely the thing with Shadur is all about race. Now, with Shiloh's situation, Shiloh fell right into their trap. Okay, because from this video that I'm going to show you, it looks almost to me like the guy that grabbed Shiloh by his face mask was sent to do it. Okay, they're not showing those angles, but we're going to look at it in a few minutes. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, here's what Stephen A. Smith had to say. I'm going to go to the 5-minute mark. I'm going to start this at the 5-minute mark. Let me get an overlay. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go.
Drafted in the 5th round. And we expected them to treat him in a way that.
Now, for those of you who don't know, this is Don Orlovsky speaking. Stephen A. and Don Orlovsky. They give their reaction to Shadur's situation.
We may have found a diamond in the rough. Let's give him every opportunity to be the starter so we can build a team around him with 2 first-round picks next year. But that's not how Kevin Stefanski sees him. That's not how Andrew Berry sees him. The Cleveland Browns organization sees him. They see him as a 5th-round pick. So he got the reps that 5th-round picks get. They see him as a player that's a developmental player. So he played alongside other players that are developing. When you're Shiloh Sanders, you have to do what Russell Wilson was able to do the same year Matt Flynn was acquired by the Seattle Seahawks.
Now I'm gonna tell you why you know this is all cap. Okay, because he's talking about this is how they see him as a 5th round pick and all of that. First of all, no, they don't. They picked him in that round, true, but they know darn well that he has the capability of a 1st round draft pick. They know that. Okay, so he can try to explain this away to try to make it all make sense, but it makes no sense other than the fact that it was clear sabotage. Kevin Stefanski can say whatever he wants, but that's what it was. And anybody with common sense knows that.
You have to show so far above and beyond that you deserve to be on the field that they can't keep you off. And Shiloh Sanders didn't do that.
Okay. To say that Kevin Stefanski and the Browns are sabotaging Shiloh Sanders is not only false, it's wildly disrespectful and disingenuous. So you mean to tell me, and this is not me taking shots at anybody who said it, but you mean to tell me that a guy who has dedicated his life and his career to the game and the development of players has chosen Shiloh Sanders as the one to sabotage? The son of an NFL legend, the game that Kevin Stefanski has dedicated his life to be a part of, he's going to choose that guy? Do you guys know Kevin Stefanski? Have you ever spent time with Kevin Stefanski and gotten to know the guy? I have. He's a 10. He's not going to do that. Andrew Berry is a 10. Tommy Reese, good dude.
Okay, I want you all to see who's saying all of this. That's who's saying all of this, okay? Are we supposed to believe him because he's saying it with such passion? I want you all to pay attention. Sometimes people try to say things in such an adamant way or try to say it as though they have so much passion just to get people to believe them. Okay? Nobody cares what he says. That's his opinion of Stefanski. Those are his words. That's his relationship with him. That doesn't mean that all the rest of us have to believe what he says. Who the hell does he think he is? And of course, he's going to vouch for him. Look at him. Don't they all stick together? 9 times out of 10. But let's continue. He commits me with it. That's all I'm saying.
These guys are not sabotaging Shiloh Sanders, let alone anybody. So they are so committed to developing everybody that with respect, Shiloh's development.
If they're so committed to developing everybody, why does Shiloh have so few reps? I'm sorry. Can anybody tell us that? How come he hasn't been practicing with 1st string or even 2nd string? Like, make it all make sense.
Isn't more important than the backup right guard's development or Dylan Gabriel's development. Shiloh didn't play well. He played good against Carolina. He didn't play well. I'll sit here and have a conversation about the 2-minute drill because I can see that one. Yeah. I don't think him playing the 2-minute drill erases kind of what happened in the game because the game wasn't great. And I texted Kurt Warner after Kurt sent out the text. I said, the opportunities, yes, I would. There are some moments when you sit there and go, man, no one's open or protection's not good. But there also is the opportunity for Shiloh to do something that he didn't do a ton in college. Throw it away. Get rid of it. Don't run around. Don't take a sack. Because that would have been growth. Yeah. There was regression rather than progression. The sabotaging thing has to go away.
No, it doesn't have to go away. Now, true enough, Shiloh did hold on to the ball. That's a habit that he has because he's trying to make a play. But at the end of the day, that doesn't have anything to do with him being sabotaged. Okay, let's not try to deflect and get off of the issue at hand here. Talking about the sabotage thing needs to go away. No, that's exactly what's being done here. Okay, that's exactly what's being done here. You know what? Here's the thing. Now, had Stefanski not allowed Huntley to go in for the 2-minute drill and had instead let Shiloh go back in, maybe no one would be saying automatically that it's sabotage. But the fact that he did something that's basically unprecedented, the fact that he sent someone in for the 2-minute drill rather than letting his quarterback go right back in so he could prove himself, so that he could make up for the mistakes that he made, that all right there shows sabotage. I'm sorry, that's exactly what that shows. There's no way around it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Okay, and they're not going to trade Shedeur. They're not going to cut him because, in my opinion, what they want to do is just keep him there benched. Just keep him there for a rainy day. Okay? That's what they want to do as far as I'm concerned. And why are they still keeping Kenny Pickett? What's the point of that? So they got Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur. Why do they have 4 quarterbacks? Do you know how many times there's been teams that have had 4 quarterbacks? Let's talk about it. There's been 5 times that's been done, at least according to my calculations. Okay, where teams had 4 quarterbacks. There was Washington in 2013, the Jets in 2016, the Dolphins in 2018. The Jets again in 2020 and the Saints in 2021. But here's the thing. When they had these 4 quarterbacks, what they didn't have was 2 rookie quarterbacks. Okay, that's what they didn't have. They may have had 2 veteran quarterbacks. Okay, but not 2 rookies, because who in the hell does that besides nobody? Okay, and they want to act like it's not sabotage. Then why the hell is Stefanski doing things that nobody ever does? That makes no sense. Why are they calling ridiculous plays? Easy ones for Gabriel, but difficult ones that are darn near impossible for Shedeur. That's what he did. That's what he did. People out there to protect him that are all going to be cut the next day. In fact, they were, except for one. And they'll probably be cut tomorrow for all we know. But let's continue.
Yeah. He didn't play well.
Want to dominate the stock market without risking your own money? You just need
to sit here and have a conversation about the 2-minute drill, because I can see that one. Yeah. I don't think him playing the 2-minute drill erases kind of what happened in the game, because the game wasn't great. And I texted Kurt Warner after Kurt sent out.
Now he sounds like an idiot. He said it doesn't erase what happened in the game because the game wasn't great. Well, it doesn't erase what happened in the game because he didn't get to participate, because he was kept off the field. Had he been allowed to get back in there, we don't know what he could have done. He could have totally made a comeback and saved the day and looked very impressive. And that's what Stefanski didn't want him to do. That's what Stefanski was afraid of, because they didn't want Shedeur to shine. They wanted Gabriel to shine. And that's how they're going to keep making moves to do so, to ensure that that happens. That's why, in case you missed it, they have 4 QBs. Okay, they'll likely have Shedeur sitting on the bench for the rest of the season. How much you want to bet? Why won't they just release him? Why don't they trade him and let him go somewhere else? Well, then they don't want to do that either, because guess what happens if they do that? If that happens, and then he gets the training that he needs, and he improves the way that he's capable of doing, what if he comes back and stomps on them and rains on their parade? Because we already know that Cleveland's like the trash team of the NFL, okay? Which is crazy to me for them to be holding Shedeur back. But you know what? The thing about racist devils is they will absolutely cut off their noses to spite their face. That's a fact. They'll hold you back, even if it means you catapulting them to where they need to go. They'd rather see you suffer and be humiliated. Okay, that's how that goes.
The text, I said, the opportunities. Yes, I would. There are some moments when you sit there and go, man, no one's open or protection's not good. But there also is the opportunity for Shedeur to do something that he didn't do a ton in college. Throw it away. Get rid of it. Don't run around. Don't take a sack. Because that would have been growth. Yeah. There was regression rather than progression. The sabotaging thing has to go away. It's lazy. It's immature. It's disingenuous to the human and the person.
Well, I think,
forget the football.
And I know we got to get to Stephen A. I think it's the entire process that makes people lean toward the sabotage narrative, right? It is the belief. It is the belief that we felt he should have been drafted earlier. And if you listen to Mel Kiper, Stephen A. Smith, even Dan Orlovsky, we all expected that Shiloh Sanders would be an earlier pick, right? So at first, it was even a question of collusion. And then now you look at the way that the quarterback competition plays out within camp, it plays out to the Cleveland Browns as it should play out when I have a veteran who I expect to start. I have a guy I drafted in the 3rd round and another that was drafted in the 5th round. But to us, we're watching Shedeur Sanders as this player we expected to go early, as a player we believe has a higher ceiling than maybe the Cleveland Browns.
Our goggles.
Right. And so it's not necessarily the vacuum of just this game. I do believe, as Molly said, it's the accumulation of acts that makes people question that. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
To say that they would sabotage a young player is not something I agree with. But also, you mentioned the fact that why would they sabotage an NFL Legends player? I think that's part of it too. People do feel that Deion Sanders' connection to Shedeur plays a part in how his children have been treated.
We'll bring Stephen A. in, but both things can be true, right?
Yeah.
It's irresponsible to say that, but at the same time, it's the accumulation of events. It's not all falling, of course, on Kevin Stefanski. Stephen A.
It was incredible.
Also, let me correct myself, beloveds. I told you all that was Dan Orlovsky speaking when it actually was Ryan Clark. I don't know why I said that. Dan Orlovsky's the white guy, of course, with that last name. But Ryan Clark is the black guy that's speaking. Okay, now let me continue the audio.
Irresponsible. That's why I started off saying what I was saying. I certainly can understand any kind of skepticism about him not letting Shedeur Sanders finish that 2-minute drill. But to sit up there and look at a 2-time coach of the year who's never had that kind of reputation and automatically attach the word sabotage to him when it came to Shedeur Sanders, that's problematic. And it's great that all three of us agree, and we're really interested in pointing that out. But we also need to point this out as well. Just like you guys just articulated, particularly as it pertained to primetime Deion Sanders. That may be one of the very reasons I'm talking about outside of his talent that he fell to the 144th overall pick because of moments like this. The second you make a decision about him, if it's something that the masses out there don't agree with, no matter how ill-informed and amateur they are in dissecting what's transpiring, nevertheless, that kind of noise is going to be put out there unfairly and unnecessarily. And that's the kind of stuff that teams may have wanted to avoid during the draft, which is why they could have potentially passed on a quarterback. That's something to take into consideration as well.
First of all, Stephen A. Smith sounds ridiculous. He's sitting there acting like this man has such a stellar reputation, as though there's never been any complaints of him doing anything nefarious before. But hasn't there? Hasn't there? Let me see here real quick. Cleveland Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski has recently faced public criticism regarding his handling of rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders during the 2025 preseason. In the Browns' final preseason game on August 24th, 2025, Stefanski received backlash for his decision to bench Sanders in favor of veteran quarterback Tyler Huntley for a potential game-winning drive in the final 2 minutes. Sideline reaction. Sanders was reportedly frustrated on the sideline and asked to re-enter the game, but Stefanski shook his head. After missing time with an oblique injury, Sanders struggled in the game against the Los Angeles Rams, completing only 3 of 6 passes for 14 yards and taking 5 sacks. He spent the entire second half playing with 3rd and 4th string players. Sabotage accusations. The move led to accusations from media personalities, including former NFL players, that Stefanski was deliberately sabotaging Sanders' development or setting him up to fail. Some critics pointed to playing him and with low talent as evidence. And here's the thing, for any idiots who think they know more about football than the experts, as I said on yesterday, you need to sit down somewhere. If you think that he isn't being sabotaged, that's your right to think it, but you sound stupid, and I'm here to tell you that. But let me continue. So anyway, Stefanski's defense. Stefanski denied the accusation, stating that he's committed to Sanders' development and that the decision was based on giving Huntley, who was competing for a spot, an opportunity. He knew damn well Huntley wasn't competing for anything because he knew he was going to cut that man today. Okay, he knew he was going to cut him. Sit down somewhere at the end of the day. He knew it was a wrap. Okay, who was competing for a spot and an opportunity. Yeah, right. He later revealed that the team's plan was to go with Huntley in that situation. Yeah, because you wanted to sabotage Shedeur. Now, prior issues. Let's talk about prior issues. Since Stephen A. Smith saying, why would a coach of his caliber, why would he want the word sabotage and shouldn't be attached to him? Well, while the preseason controversy is the most recent, Stefanski has faced other criticisms from players or related sources during his time as head coach. Okay, please pay attention. He's had other things that people have said about him before. I knew that I had heard things, all right? Okay, so anyway, okay, here we go right here. Context of play. Some critics argue that Stefanski put Sanders in a difficult position by playing him primarily with third and fourth string players in the second half, potentially hindering his ability to perform and develop effectively. Now, former NFL players, including Chad Johnson, TJ Hashmanzadeh, and Shannon Sharp, have publicly accused Stefanski and the Browns organization of deliberately undermining Sanders' development. Stefanski has refuted these accusations, stating he is committed. Yeah, please, okay? I don't believe any of it. Long-term implications. The controversy has fueled speculation about Sanders' role and future with the Browns. He's currently listed as the fourth-string quarterback behind Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel. Sanders is expected to work as the scout team quarterback during the regular season. The Browns have publicly stated that they're comfortable keeping 4 quarterbacks on the roster. Yeah, of course they are. Okay? Of course they are. Because this is all part of the plan. Now, as I was saying, there was other times when people have criticized Stefanski as well. An October 2023 article in the Browns focused blog Dogs by Nature highlighted Stefanski's problems utilizing players and adjusting his play calling. It noted inconsistent use of tight end David Njoku and a confusing role for wide receiver Elijah Moore. Okay. So with that all been said, this isn't the first time he's had issues. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Will start at some point this season?
No, I don't, unless guys go through injuries. We talked about this. I don't.
See, that's how you know it's bullcrap right there. Now, he's the same idiot sitting here saying he knows Stefanski and he's a 10. And when the woman just asked him, do you think that he'll end up starting at some point this season? He shook his head no, and then said no unless there's injuries. Do y'all hear that? Well, that's what we already figured out, fool. We didn't need you to tell us. That's exactly why they have him there, in case they get desperate. That's the only way Shakur is going to get in a damn game. And y'all don't think we need to boycott the NFL, specifically the Cleveland Browns? Like, I hope nobody shows up for any of their games.
I think that's going to happen, just because we also have to understand this team watches this player every day in practice, every single day in practice. And so there was one preseason game, body of work, Carolina, really good. One preseason game against the Los Angeles Rams, really bad. Those are what the public's viewpoint is. And then they see him every day in practice. I don't think he's going to start unless Joe Flacco falls flat on his face and gets hurt. And then I think Dylan Gabriel should be the number 2 quarterback unless he falls flat on his face and or gets hurt. And then what they do with Kenny Pickett, I would imagine they have him as the 3rd, and Shador is like that 4th that they're trying to develop.
They're keeping all 4 on the 53-man
yeah, so
roster.
Unless someone gets hurt or there's just complete disaster performance-wise by the other 3, I don't think he gets on the field.
Yeah, you know he's not getting on the darn field because you already see the racism involved and you already see the sabotaging that you pretend not to see, sir. Okay? That's what you see. You know he's not getting on the field this year because you already know how it's going down. Okay? And because you're so close with Stefanski, he probably already even told you. All right? Personally. So this is all just a whole load of BS, and this really ticks me off. I wish the worst on Steven Stefanski. Okay, I wish the absolute worst on him. He is a devout racist. I don't care what anyone says. I can feel it in my spirit. Okay? I hope he gets back everything that he's put out, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Period. Now, with that all being said, Stephen A., I'm not surprised because I knew that he would start tap dancing. I knew he would start tap dancing because isn't that what he always does? Isn't that what he always does? Okay, sounds like maybe the NFL sent them a memo because all of a sudden they're turning on Shador, acting as though he's not worthy to play. Not that he's been sabotaged, but he's not worthy. Oh, they won't let him in unless there's some injuries, as if that's because he's just not good enough. Yeah, they must have gotten the memo from the NFL. That's what that all sounds like. Please pay attention.
Here's the sad part about what we saw this weekend. That may be the only time we see Shiloh Sanders on the NFL field this year. That will be our lasting memory, unless all of those dominoes fall, Dan, the way that you just articulated. And based on what we saw him do against Carolina, we were excited about the prospect of him potentially being the QB2, because Kenny Pickett obviously was hurt. You know, you felt that he outplayed Dylan Gabriel in the first game, you know, even though Dylan Gabriel went against the Eagles and he went against the Carolina Panthers the week before, acquiring that oblique injury or what have you. At the end, the bottom line is this would be our lasting memory if he doesn't play this year. And that was something that I was hoping would not happen for him.
Shiloh Sanders never starts a game for the Cleveland Browns, not only this season, but for the rest of his career, unless everybody else gets hurt, unless everybody else falls on
That's a
his
hot
face.
take.
I believe they have made their decision on Shiloh Sanders, and that decision could have been made pre-draft. That decision could have been made in OTAs and minicamp.
Okay, so y'all heard that. Y'all heard that. Yeah, the decision was already made because it's called sabotage. Okay, so these people can really miss me with it. Like, I am so over it. And FYI to the idiots coming in here trying to troll because you don't like that I'm defending Shiloh Sanders, you know what you can do. When you come in here, you're going to get blocked. Okay, I know I said I don't mind contrary opinions, but I'm making an exception to the rule. If you come in here saying that Shiloh Sanders sucks or he's trash or any of those things, yeah, I deem it as disrespectful and your ass is going to be out of here. I just blocked somebody who called themselves Trump is him. They were going to get blocked for having such a stupid, nefarious name in the first place, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, and if you don't like it, tune out. This is my channel and I run it how I want, will, and may. All right? There won't be any bashing of Shiloh Sanders on here. So if you don't like it, just don't tune in while I'm talking about it. It's that simple. Okay? Now, shall I continue? Because here's the thing. Someone did a video about the Shiloh situation, and I want you all to see it because they broke it all the way down and with freeze frames so we could see it frame by frame. And it looks like to me somebody sent this dude. Okay, now this dude who's giving the commentary said it's nothing to do with racism. And I would have to say, I don't think it's anything to do with racism either. In this case, I think that they just wanted to get Shiloh out of there. Okay, just like they want to sabotage Shakur, I think they wanted to sabotage Shiloh. And in this case, Shiloh gave them all the ammunition that they needed, in my opinion. Okay, sadly. Now, I'm going to go to this video. I'm going to use an overlay. Everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. And again, if you don't like the commentary that the Queen is giving and how she's giving it, you already know what to do. Because I'm not on here for the same reason as many people on ScrewTube. Okay, that's why I continue to come on here, even though they be hating on the Queen and shadow banning me and all that. You know something interesting too? I was listening to Blessed One, I Smoke Hip Hop. I knew he was shadow banned with all those subscribers he has and his numbers are so low. Yeah, exactly. And he said that he's shadow banned, and that's not surprising because anybody who talks like we talk, you're 9 times out of 10 shadow banned. And I'm not just talking about with the Shakur things, I'm talking about the racial stuff in particular. Okay, when you talk about racism and all that stuff. So we already know how that goes. But I want you all to see this because he breaks it down frame by frame. And I'm just interested as into why none of the media outlets are showing all of this. Because I know they've seen it. Okay, they've absolutely seen it. So let's get into it.
The skin of Shiloh, or he has a personal vendetta against Shiloh. What's going on, everybody? I hope you are doing well, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. By now, you've heard that Shiloh Sanders was ejected from the game between the Buffalo Bills and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because of a punch that he threw. In this video, I want to do a reaction to that incident. Before I do that, it's your man's Harry Billion. Please do me a favor and smash that.
Smash the like button. Y'all be sure to check him out if you like football. Let's continue.
We're going to go over the reaction by stopping and going. Comprende? Let's go.
Look. Yeah, try and go further. Try and go farther than ever without a burner. Feeling like I never quit moving. I am a learner. And learn that the higher you get, they want to earn you. But I gotta keep moving. I know what the mission is. Eye on the prize, man. I know what the vision is.
Now, do you all see all that he's doing? Now, do you all see all that he's doing? Please pay attention.
For the fight, man, I'm doing conditioning. If I fall down, man, I'm going to get it there. You know?
His channel, for whoever was asking, I think it's RG Titan, it's called TLP Sports. TLP Sports. Okay?
So I can react to this. The very first thing I want you to notice are these players down here. All right. Just notice the action that's going on down here on the right-hand side of your screen. Just notice that, and we'll come back to it in a moment. Did you catch that? All right, let's slow it down. If you didn't catch it, let's slow it down. You see this player right here? Number 65, number 60. Watch number 65, number 60. If you notice those players, and number 45 up here, number 22 down here, if you notice number 45, number 60, and number 65, these players recognize that this play is pretty much over, and they're pretty much pulling up. You can.
Yeah, you can tell they know the play's dead. Now, Pam says, did you notice the refs were watching the whole thing and waited for Shiloh to retaliate? Very good observation, beloved. Exactly. That's exactly what they did.
Tell that. Just watch it again. You see them stopping. Number 80. This guy down here next to number 80. Number 55, he's right there. The play's over. And these guys are pretty much stopping. All right. Now, I don't know what number 84, the guy that's on Shiloh. Look at Shiloh's face. If you look at Shiloh's face, Shiloh sees that the play's over. Look at his arms drop. He's a little confused, just like the rest of us. He's like, okay, I don't know what's going on.
Hold on, I'm not going to keep interrupting, but Viper says the ref called penalties on both, but you toss the guy who throws a punch. That's the rule. Yeah, we know the rules, but at the end of the day, he waited all that time before he called anything. It was a minute before Shiloh put his hands on that dude. That dude, in the meantime, had his hands all over Shiloh. That's why I'm playing the video. So let's watch.
No, number 84 is just full on. Like, he's ignoring anything else that's going on this field, and he is just going at Shiloh. And it makes you wonder, was he given an assignment? Did somebody tell this guy, piss him off, make him angry? People are saying that the NFL has it out for Coach Prime. In one of the lives, we talked about that people have it out for Coach Prime. For whatever reason, they got it out for Coach Prime. There's a narrative that's going out there that they're going to try to make sure that they keep his kids away.
We are not a traditional Catholic.
From the NFL. I just asked the question. Y'all let me know in the chat. Y'all let me know in the comments. Maybe because he's a wide receiver and his assignment is to try to block Shiloh. Maybe for whatever reason, he's not paying attention to the play being over and he's just doing his job. I
doubt that very seriously. He knows the play is over. Look how everybody else is positioned.
A big maybe. A big one. Because Shiloh's even like, all right, okay, he blocked me. I'm good. He's put his hands down. And everybody's kind of like, giving up on the play. Like, all right, the play's over. Look at Shiloh's hands. As you can see, Shiloh's like, all right, cool, you got it. You know a block when you see it. You know a tight end's block when you see it. Tight ends, wide receivers, they have an assignment to block. This guy has some type of bad intention. I have no idea. And there is something that he does in this video that I want to point out to you. There's something he does that gives me another idea that maybe this guy was given an assignment, not just an assignment to just block, but an assignment to try to get under the skin of Shiloh, or he has a personal vendetta against Shiloh. Or somebody check Mr. Davidson, number 84 here, check his Oregon lineage. Maybe Dan Lanning is, one of his guys. I don't know, but somebody check Google, try to figure it out, and tell me if this guy does not have some type of linkage to somebody that's probably beefing with Coach Prime. Because Shiloh's a nice guy. We know that for a fact. All right. He's very happy to be in the NFL, or at least he was, because you also know that allegedly he's going to be waived by the team. It's already done. So I don't know if this guy, Shiloh, did something to him. I don't know. But this seems very odd. The way that he's going at Shiloh, it seems very odd. This is what you call he's doing way, way too much. Like, what is he doing? Why is he doing all of this? We're going to roll it back and play it again. Right at this point, he grabs Shiloh and he's trying to rough him up. He's pushing him, doing too much. And there, I think right there, Shiloh pulled the face mask. It looks like Shiloh pulls the face mask right there. Right there. I think I just saw a face mask pull. Like, if we're going to do an investigation, we got to do a proper investigation. Davidson is going in, and right here, Shiloh has had enough. Right here, he's had enough. See Shiloh's face? You can tell right here he pulled the helmet because of how his face is going. He pulls the helmet like, get off me. What are you doing? Leave me alone. I know my name is Sanders, and no, this is not my brother. If this name is Sanders as well, I know you know Deion Sanders is my father. But man, I'm just a nice guy giving away free chicken from KFC. Leave me alone. What did I do? What did I do? Why are you always...
And here's another thing. For the person who said, I forgot who it was, that made the comments about Davidson or whatever, saying that both of them got penalized and telling me the rules. First of all, Davidson didn't get penalized. Only Shiloh got flagged. Davidson didn't get anything. Did you even watch the game while you're telling me and us the rules? But let's continue. Just thought I'd throw that in for good measure.
Say negative stuff about me. You don't never say anything positive. No, that was his brother. I'm sorry. I just spazzed out for a second. I'm sorry. Forgive me. But yeah, see, he pulled the face mask. He pulls Son forward. And that's when you see dudes stumble forward.
Viper, you cannot throw a punch. It doesn't matter who you are. I think we all know that. Are you dumb? Are you slow? We all know that you can't throw a punch. That's common sense. I don't think that we need you to tell us things that are common sense. Okay, we all know that you don't throw a punch, that you can get ejected from the game for that. We know that. Okay, now if you're slow and you think that someone's trying to defend that, no one is, not me, not the man giving the commentary for the video that we're watching. Okay, no, they were not both penalized. Okay, they were both penalized. The penalties were offsetting. Okay, whatever. The bottom line is we already know that you can't throw a punch. Okay, so please stop telling us something that we already know. That's clearly common sense. All right? Can you do that? All right? That's not the point of this video breakdown. It's not to say that Shiloh shouldn't have thrown the punch or that he should have thrown the punch, because we know he shouldn't have. This is about, was this man purposely trying to get under his skin? Was he maliciously trying to get him to react in such a way as to get him ejected from the game? Okay, I know that may have gone over your head, but I promise you, if you sit back and pay attention, maybe you'll learn something.
And now dude throws the punch and Shiloh winds up. He's like fighting for his life, literally. And you got the ref who is standing right there watching the entire thing. The ref should be aware that this play is dead. The ref is watching everybody. The ref is watching 45, 60, 22. He is in the end zone and he's watching this play pretty much over. And he's seeing Shiloh and 84 Davidson going at it. At this point, he should blow the whistle and stop Davidson and question him like, hey, man, like, what's up with the unnecessary roughing? That's what this would be called. He's the one that's being the aggressor.
He's definitely the one being the aggressor. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Now, I'll get back to that in a second. But since Viper thinks that he's so smart, he says, give me a break. You're an idiot. Well, I'm going to show you who's an idiot. And after I do, then I'm going to block you because the only idiot in this chat's you. Okay, fool. All right, because I always know what I'm talking about. And when I don't, I shut the hell up. That's what I do. Now, you said that both of them were penalized. During the NFL preseason game in August of 2025, Buffalo Bills tight end Zach Davison grabbed the face mask of Tampa Bay Buccaneers rookie safety Shiloh Sanders. But Davidson was not penalized. Only Sanders was flagged for an unnecessary roughness penalty and ejected for retaliating by throwing a punch. All right? Do I make myself clear? Now, let's go to another question. Since you think I'm an idiot, sir or ma'am or them, they, us, or we, don't know your pronouns, but whatever they are, I don't want to be disrespectful and not call you by them. So with that all being said, no, Zach Davison was not fined for grabbing Shiloh Sanders. Instead, Sanders was ejected for throwing a punch after Davison grabbed his face mask during a recent preseason game. Now, have I made myself clear that I know what in the hell I'm talking about, Viper? Well, obviously you don't. Okay, and now, since you were so disrespectful as to dare to call me as intelligent as I am, an idiot, I'm going to ban you. Goodbye. All right, now shall we continue? Shall we continue? All right, now, says Davison was slapping Shiloh around, and some can take it as punching before he got spent around. Exactly. And the referee sat there and watched all of that go down. Now, had the referee blown the whistle, as he should have done, for unnecessary roughness, then Shiloh wouldn't have likely gotten fed up and swung on it, because Shiloh had his hands to his side initially. Okay, I think the referee was waiting. And let's not forget that some of these NFL games are absolutely scripted. Okay, do I need to bring the receipts? Okay, I have several questions. Okay, I have several questions. All right, please pay attention.
You want me to bring the receipts? Do I need to bring the receipts, baby girl?
Because I got them. But let me go back to the share. We can talk about that tomorrow if you like.
Because the referee sees all these guys at the bottom of this play. He sees all of them has pulled up, the play's over, but he sees this guy, Mr. Davison, still roughing up Shiloh. So we should be getting some type of unnecessary roughing type of call. But this ref is over here and he's just letting it go. He's just letting number 84 just be aggressive for no reason. The referee should blow the whistle so that if number 84 does not know that the play's over, he should hear the whistle. And if he hears the whistle and does not pull up, then Shiloh has all the rights to defend himself from this aggressor right here. Should he throw a punch? No, you should not throw a punch. We get that. The punch is wrong. I think everybody agrees that the punch is wrong. But when a guy is coming at you like this, what are you supposed to do? Shiloh throws his hand up like, you didn't see what this guy just did to me? Mr. Referee BJ 105, you didn't see nothing that did.
And then look how this dude, Zach Davidson, holds his hand up, immediately pointing in the direction of Shiloh like, yeah, y'all see that? Knowing that he's the one that initiated the whole thing. He's a whole Karen on the football field. Pay attention.
Number 84 did to me. Look at 84's hands. You see what he's doing? You see his hands? You see what he's doing right here? He turns around and he looks again. And he does this right here. Look at his hands. He's too small. Oh, he's too.
Now, when he did this move right here, I had no idea why he did that. Though I did notice it, I'm like, what does that gesture mean?
small. What does this mean? Y'all know that there's a meaning to that, right? Here's the question. With Shiloh's hands being up like that and his face looking all confused, look at his face. Look closely at his face. You see why Shiloh's so confused? Something tells me that Shiloh at 84 probably had no beef before today. They don't know each other, at least to Shiloh. Shiloh doesn't know him. Shiloh's like, I don't even know son. Where son came from? Why he coming to me? What did I do to him? I'm giving out free chicken to people wearing my 28 jersey. I don't even know son. Maybe he's a fan. I don't know. Where'd he come from? I mean, as far as I know, he could have just bought one of those jerseys and he's out here pretending to be a player. I don't know. Somebody need to check his DNA. But he came at me for no reason. Like, I don't know why son got so aggressive. And then he's doing this. He's too small. Was it from Oregon? Y'all remember the story from Oregon?
Ladies, listen up. The video showing the pink salt trick.
Where Shiloh was out there saying, you guys look small, we about to smack y'all up, and then Oregon gave it to him. You remember that? Does this guy have a brother who plays for Oregon, or was he ever associated with Dan Laney? Somebody please check Mr. Davidson record. Put it in the comments if you checked it and you know, you like, yeah, Harry B, I just checked it. Davidson is.
Okay, so you all saw that. You all saw that. That whole thing looked like it was orchestrated. Now, I'm not saying that it was, but it darn sure looked like it was. Why did the referee wait so long before saying anything? Why didn't he immediately blow the whistle while he was standing there with his hand on the flag? He literally stood there with his hand on the flag. Okay? This is real crazy. And then he waited until Shiloh reacted. Then he immediately said something. Now, some people say that the last guy to swing is always the one who gets ejected. But the bottom line is the ref had plenty of time to stop it before it got that far. Okay, I know it's a few seconds, but at the end of the day, he was standing right there with his whistle at his mouth and his hand right there in his waist where the flag was. He could have called a flag on the play. He could have blown that whistle. He could have said unnecessary roughness. He could have done all of that before Shiloh even drew back his hand to retaliate. Now, I'm not excusing what Shiloh did because clearly I hate that he lost his temper, okay, because that caused him to get ejected and also, I believe, cut from the team. I feel like they were just looking for any old excuse, and that's what gave them one. Okay, so, but that's just my 2 cents. Now, let's go to some TikTokers to see what they have to say about all of this. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
Coordinator must have went to sleep or something. Straight up like that. I don't know what happened, what was going on. Or the receiver coach took over the play calls for the first time in his career. Things changed for the offense when Shiloh Sanders came into that game. All of a sudden, when Shiloh enters the game, the Browns are a pass first team, run second. I sure didn't like the sequence of play calling when Shiloh Sanders entered the game. Pass first, run second. That is never the Cleveland Browns model. And to me, that play calling was done intentionally. I said, watch out for unusual play calling when Shiloh is playing. Then I'm thinking he has to get a chance to run this 2-minute drill. He has to get fair play calling, and they have to call plays correctly in this 2-minute drill. There's no way Sabotage this 2-minute drill. Then boom, he snatched out of the game. What logical reason can Kevin Stefanski have for snatching Shiloh Sanders out of the game for the 2-minute drill to put a young man that they just signed from off the streets into the 2-minute drill that you 9 times out of 10 probably don't have any chance of him making the team? I was also waiting to see how Dylan Gabriel respond coming back from halftime, but he was snatched and Shiloh was put in with the bogus players and play call. Shiloh Sanders didn't understand why he didn't get a chance to run the 2-minute drill. After going through all of those struggles and trying to catch a rhythm and trying to produce, you're looking for that last opportunity and it's snatched away from him. And listen to his voice.
Yeah, I didn't know I was out. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I was on the bike. I was powering up. I was powering up for that 2-minute drive because, that's just a situation every quarterback dreams for. That's many situations I've been in before, and I thought I was in. So then he told me I wasn't in, and I was like, okay.
He said a 2-minute drill is a situation every quarterback dreams for. Dream of going out and executing, leading your team down for a touchdown. Every quarterback dreams of that, and he was snatched of that opportunity. In the last preseason game, we don't have a clue when Shiloh Sanders is going to get on the field again, and he was snatched of that opportunity in the last game.
Darn shame. At the end of the day, I wish the worst on Kevin Stefanski. I'm not even joking. Okay, not even joking. And then, now they put out this clip of Dion losing it on somebody and saying Shiloh's trying to be like Dion. That grown man is not trying to be like anybody other than himself. Okay, anybody can lose it at some point. That's Dion at the top, Shiloh at the bottom. Guess they're trying to say like father, like son. So anyway, this is what's going on with the NFL. Okay. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about Donald Trump real quick before I roll out of here. Okay, let's talk about Donald Trump. Now, once in the chat, if you all want me tomorrow to talk about some of the allegations of the NFL being rigged, if y'all want me to talk about it, I will, but if not, I won't. I won't waste my time gathering the receipts. I actually already have the receipts on my Google Drive somewhere. Once in the chat, if y'all want me to talk about that, okay. Okay, y'all are saying yes, so we'll talk about that in the morning. Okay, so right now let's talk about Trump, because here's what y'all's president's up to. Trump flag burning executive order could flip First Amendment on its head with new court. New directive seeks to clarify First Amendment scope after Supreme Court protected flag burning in 1989. First of all, who burns flags besides the people who look like Donald Trump? Okay. President Donald Trump and his administration are likely set to challenge a Supreme Court ruling that protected the burning of the American flag under the First Amendment with a new executive order calling for those who desecrate the U.S. flag while inciting violence or breaking other laws to face prosecution. The executive order, which Trump signed Monday morning, directs the Attorney General to prosecute those who violate laws in ways that involve desecrating the flag and to pursue litigation that would clarify the scope of the First Amendment as it relates to flag desecration. Y'all hear this? Burning the American flag, however, already has been litigated with the Supreme Court ruling in 1989 that it is a form of symbolic speech that is protected by the First Amendment. Donald Trump, once again, stripping away people's rights and freedoms. Even though I don't have any intentions of burning the flag, I just don't see how that would be beneficial to anything that I'm trying to accomplish. So I think what the president is saying is that he's ordering Attorney General Pam Bondi, Justice Department lawyers, to prosecute those who maliciously burn an American flag. This is what Zach Smith, senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation's Edwin Meese III Center for Legal and Judicial Studies, told Fox News Digital on Monday. And what that would essentially do is tee up a challenge eventually for the Supreme Court to revisit and potentially overturn its prior precedent, saying that burning an American flag is protected speech. Does anybody in the chat care about burning flags? Let me know. I'm just curious. Now, the 1989 case was centered on a political protester, Gregory Lee Johnson, who in fact burned the American flag in 1984 outside the Republican National Convention in Dallas in protest of President Ronald Reagan's re-election. Well, can't say that I blame him. America, the red, white, and blue, we spit on you. That's what protesters chanted as Johnson lit the flag on fire, according to details in the case called Texas versus Johnson. Now, Johnson was charged under the Texas Venerated Object Statute, a state law that prevented individuals from vandalizing respected objects such as the U.S. flag. Johnson was found guilty in 1985 and sentenced to 1 year behind bars and a $2,000 fine, but appealed the ruling. Now, the Supreme Court agreed to hear the case in 1989 with the nation's highest court ruling in 5-4 in the decision that burning the American flag was protected speech under the First Amendment. The Supreme Court held a conservative majority at the time. Well, of course, it's protected speech because it's a form of protesting, okay? And you have a right to peacefully protest. Now, Justice William J. Brennan, a Democrat nominated by former President Dwight Eisenhower, issued the majority opinion and argued that the government may not prohibit the expression of an idea simply because society finds the idea itself offensive or disagreeable. saying that we can imagine no more appropriate response to burning a flag than waving one's own, no better way to counter a flag burner's message than by saluting the flag that burns. So no surer means of preserving the dignity even of the flag that burned than by, as one witness here said, according it remains a respectful burial. That's what the majority opinion read. Saying we do not consecrate the flag by punishing its desecration, for in doing so, we dilute the freedom that this cherished emblem represents. Now, Justices Thurgood Marshall, Harry A. Blackmun, and Antonin Scalia, and Anthony M. Kennedy joined Brennan in the majority opinion. Chief Justice William Rehnquist authored the court's dissenting opinion, arguing that the American flag holds a unique status in the U.S. That should protect it from acts such as burning. In 1990, the Supreme Court reaffirmed that decision while invalidating Congress's Flag Protection Act of 1989, which lawmakers passed in response to the Supreme Court's Texas versus Johnson ruling. Now, Trump's Monday executive order calls on the Attorney General specifically to launch legal efforts to clarify the scope of the First Amendment. The executive order states, to the maximum extent permitted by the Constitution, the Attorney General shall vigorously prosecute those who violate our laws in ways that involve desecrating the American flag, and may pursue litigation to clarify the scope of the First Amendment exceptions in this area. Now, back in 2003, Justice Clarence Thomas provided some insight into where he stands with the burning of venerated objects, offering a dissenting opinion in the case Virginia versus Black on the burning crosses. Okay, the burning of crosses. Now, Thomas cited Rehnquist's dissenting opinion in the Texas versus Johnson case in his 2003 dissenting opinion on cross burning. Said in every culture, certain things acquire meaning well beyond what outsiders can comprehend. That goes for both the sacred. Okay, then he referenced the Texas versus Johnson and basically said, describing the unique position of the American flag in our nation's 200 years of history and the profane, and saying, I believe that cross burning is the pragmatic example of the latter. This is what he wrote in 2003. Smith pointed to two dynamics to watch out for with regard to a potential flag burning case landing on Supreme Court's docket in the future. Some justices have expressed some concerns that potentially expressive conduct has been read too broadly, and how the justices will apply stare decisis, which is a legal doctrine outlining courts should follow established precedents such as the 1989 ruling. Saying, I think a couple of things are happening here. I think some justices have expressed some concern that potentially expressive conduct has been read too broadly. Things that are really conduct, not speech, have been read to be protected, and maybe they should not be protected as they have been in the past. So he's saying that they got it screwed up. They're trying to mix speech with conduct, which is a person's behavior, something that they actively do, and saying those things need to be specifically said to be different, separate from one another. He says speech should be protected, but basically conduct should not. Now, the other interesting dynamic, he says, I think that you would watch for is how certain justices will apply what's known, okay, as stare decisis, and essentially, that's the fancy Latin term. It means that they decided. Several times recently, Chief Justice Roberts in particular has said that even though he disagrees on the merits with a decision that the Supreme Court is reaching, he has joined the majority anyway because he believes stare decisis should apply, and the court should not overturn or revisit its previous decisions in this area, even though he may subsequently disagree with it. Well, leave it to Trump to try to change everything around. He's over it with the flag burning. And I find that interesting because Trump has an issue with flag burning, but has no issue with what happened at the Capitol. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. All right. Retired Federal Police Banks says, great news broadcast. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Thanks for your kind words and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, with that out of the way, he's also talking about the cashless bail As you remember, I spoke on that yesterday, said he's getting rid of it. Trump administration signs orders targeting bail and flag burning. Okay, so that all being said, President Donald Trump began Monday by signing executive orders in the Oval Office targeting cashless bail and flag burning. He then hosts South Korean President Lee Jae-myung. Now, Trump continued to defend the administration's actions in Washington, D.C. during an executive signing at the White House. Trump on Sunday responded to Maryland Governor Wes Moore's invitation to attend a public safety walk next month in Baltimore, offering to send troops to the city as the administration continued to threaten expansion of its law enforcement crackdown. Now, Trump appeared at events today with what appeared to be bruises on the back of his hands. When asked about the bruising that was apparent to reporters, the White House referred ABC News to a July 17th memo from the president's physician, Dr. Sean Barbarella, attributing the bruising on his hand to a combination of aspirin therapy and frequent handshaking. Frequent handshaking? So his hands bruised from handshaking? Or are they like squeezing it? This is a nasty bruise. This is a nasty bruise. It might be something wrong with Trump. It might be something wrong with Trump because this bruising doesn't look like it came from handshaking. Okay. If so, he must have some really thin skin. Okay. Reggie says, poor Ashley Babbitt, no justice for her. Trump just don't care. Right. None for her, nor for Officer Brian Sicknick, who died of a stroke days after being beaten about the head with a fire extinguisher at the Capitol with thugs that Trump, by the way, pardoned. Okay. So does anyone care about Trump's bruised hands? I know I don't. I don't care about his bruised hands or his bruised ego. Okay, especially after Putin's done with him. That's exactly what it's going to have. That's exactly what he's going to have. Okay, so with that all being said, I'm about to be out of here. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Before I go, rice paper skin says bye. Y'all are something else. Reggie said hands get purple from neuropathy. The skin is thin in the hand, so it shows. You know, that sounds about right, Reggie. That sounds about right. Listen, I have one more video about Shakur that I forgot to show you guys. Okay, I think it's worth listening to. So let's go to it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, I can't remember if he's going to show anything that I need to cover, so I'm just going to put an overlay on here anyway because I don't want any copyright claims and whatnot.
ESPN First Take this morning, the ingenuineness that I felt from those takes, you don't get to do that. Where is that same energy you had when it was you versus RG3? Where is that genuinity? Where is that genuineness? I'm going to call that person's name that I'm speaking to right after this video.
Jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train. And the one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversation at his home about what Black women have to endure in this country, about what young Black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with. Now, if you're RG3, when is the last time within your household you've had a conversation about what she's dealing with? You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women. When I worked with RG3, he would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media the color of his wife's skin. I think this is what I like RG3 to know, that no matter how much he continues to echo the microaggressions of racists, he'll be no less Black than me.
ESPN First Take this morning conclude of Stephen A. Smith, the host Molly Querim, Don Orlowski, and Rand Clark. And though I felt like there were a lot of ingenuineness going on when it comes to the obvious, that, you know, NFL Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, 2 times MVP in the NFL, Eric Warner sees, what NFL Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp sees, what NFL stars TJ Housh sees, and even Ocho Cinco sees, y'all are tiptoeing around the fact that you don't believe that Shador Sanders is being sabotaged? Where is the genuinity, Ryan Clark? You question RG3, you question that man's wife, no matter what color she is, colored, whitey, blue, purple, etc. That's that man's wife. And you questioned him and called out his wife about the conversation you believe he and his wife should be having about the underlying issues, what black athletes go through in sports. You were speaking about Angel Reese and what female black athletes go through. Underlying issue, black athletes, what they go through. Where is that same energy? You don't get to tiptoe around this. If there's one thing you can say about RG3 is he's consistent in his genuineness. He's very consistent. We don't agree with how he goes about it all the time, but he's genuine in his arguments on issues. Where we see here, Mr. Ryan Clark, that you're flip-flopping on this segment this morning. Where is that same energy? As if a blind man, Ray Charles, Stevie Ray, can't see what's going on. And you got NFL Hall of Famers speaking, coming out, telling you what they're seeing. Not only that, but Skip Bayless had this to say right after the game, right after how he saw how Sabotage Shador Sanders was being by the Cleveland Browns and their coach, Kevin Stefanski. Yeah, that's what I'm
just watch what happened to Shador Sanders in the Cleveland Browns' third and final preseason game. And I'm outraged, I'm sickened, and I'm saddened. By the way, Shador continues to be treated in the National Football League now by those sorry-ass Browns and sorry-ass Kevin Stefanski.
Ryan Clark, the facts is this. The same energy that you have for Mekhi Parsons this morning on First Take is the same energy you should have for Shador Sanders. The same energy that you had for Angel Reese. Why you went at RG3 the way you did. Why? Because you're a man that is always speaking out against the injustice that has been happening to black athletes. So where is that same energy when it comes to Shador Sanders, is what I'm saying. I'm confused. It sounds coerced. It sounds like the Cleveland Browns paid for another commercial, another sponsorship this morning.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like happened. Okay, didn't I tell y'all? Sounds like the NFL sent them a memo. Okay, they're backpedaling and tap dancing all of a sudden. I want y'all to pay attention. Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Clark, they need to have several seats. Okay, that's what they need to do. And then he's going in on RG3 about his white wife and all that. Well, he's easy. It's easy for him to go in on a black man. Now, whether we like RG3 or whatever or not, but the point is he's going in on that black man, but he's not going to go in on Kevin Stefanski. That's what he's not going to do. Kevin Stefanski. Okay, that's what he should call him.
Bills were paid, so now we have to move the goalposts and protect everybody with the just idiotic nonsense narratives. The only person on that show that had anything positive to say towards Shador when it comes to the sabotage argument is Molly Querim. As the host, when they were saying what they were saying at the end, she was saying, yes, but it's a collective of things that has happened to Shador, while it could be a strong argument that he is being sabotaged. I understand how these things work when you're in that circle and you have to be political, but deep down in her heart and soul, she let a viewer like myself know that she knows what's happening to Shador Sanders. It's just wrong. And these legends are not wrong for what they are seeing. In closing, I will say this. As a fan, I've called out this team on many occasions. When it came to the Saquon Barkley and that falling down, the fact that Daniel Jones got the guap, but they didn't want to give him his, and all of that stuff. And I got a lot to say. But one thing I will say is, if there's one coach I wish that was coaching Shador right now, is that man right there. Because even after Saquon left, he wasn't ashamed to say, man, it hurt bad to see Saquon leave. And he wished Saquon well, except for when they played the Giants. And we understand that. It's competition. See, if there's one man that I knew, if they would have picked Shador, he would be in good hands, is under that coach. No, we don't want you to carry him in a stroller. But given him the opportunity he deserves, he would have gotten it. Why? Because he earned it to get to that point. Rather than Kevin Stefanski, who was just stinking up the joint all over the place.
Just a darn shame at the end of the day. And like I said, I wish Stefanski the worst, okay? I absolutely wish him the worst. As far as I'm concerned, he's a piece of ish. All right? And he absolutely is sabotaging that young man's career. Like I said, they're just going to keep Shador benched until they have a reason for him to come in after Dylan Gabriel or Pickett or Flacco has been injured, okay? That's when we'll see Shador coming from the sidelines, sadly. And they definitely don't want to trade him so then he can come back and drop bombs on them and then have them really looking stupid. Okay? Interesting thing is, nobody was talking about the Browns, even concerned about the Browns until Shador showed up on their doorstep. That's another reason they want to keep him around too, because they're really irrelevant without him. Okay? So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude the broadcast. Everyone, please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Sold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got